Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy. My boy got a couple few special guests today. Spur. You know, sometimes I just do the spur of the moment thing, shut off the cuffs. Actually, it's a lot easier for me than actually shooting the video. But I'm gonna start, making my videos and shit against a few that I want to do. But anyway, I've received a lot of heavy criticism for the last week or so. People say I'm hanging around too many ponies. They having a negative effect on me. I'm not an Xbox guy anymore. I'm pulling the Iron Wolf and all types of wild stuff. You know what I mean? So I guess if I have an opinion or if I don't agree with everything, then I'm a pony now. You know what I mean? Pony. Hey, go figure. It is what it is. Hey, I would like to say, even though I don't believe in this fictional character, but the stories they talked about Jesus, and I'm no different, right? But anyway, getting right into the day show, I got a few people. You never know who may hop in today. I'll send a couple links out. If you want to come rock out with me? I got my brother Mighty Moss. What's going on with you, Moss? As the room fill up, listen. Hold on one second before listen. As you guys are joining, you spot me a solid, right? It costs you nothing, right? Hit the like button, man. That's all that I ask. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
That's all. Hit the like button. That's it, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I said, what you got going on with yourself, Mighty Moss?
No, man, chilling, man. Was on GRG last night. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, how did that go for you? How did that go for you?
Oh, that went good. It was interesting, man. It was very interesting. And, they talked a little bit about this conversation. We definitely going to, finish it up here,
I was listening. I want to say this one thing. I wasn't home last night. I was out somewhere being a lousy husband or something. I don't know what the hell was going on last night. But anyway, listen. They said someone said that the chat was disabled or sudden. They said, "Come on, can't make any negative comments." Like, I don't know what the hell be going. What the hell be going on?
No, that's what everybody was saying at first. It was what it looked like, but no, I don't know what happened. Something happened, but the chat ended up getting enabled. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm just he said, "Easy, do you go being messy?" I'm being messy. Like I said, okay, all right, Post, what's going on, you good brother? I haven't actually. You Post, you haven't been on the show. You've been working like Kunta Kinte.
Yeah, man.
Kunta Kinte. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you say something I don't see you, then like I said, I'm not looking at the screen that screen right now, so I do apologize. I'm sorry. What's going on with your Post?
Yeah, I'm just telling. I've been working like crazy, man. So I'm definitely glad I'm able to get on the panel today. But y'all know, post up with the close up, Mr. Let's talk about it, and I definitely want to talk about it today because I got some few opinions on the discussion that's been going on lately. So definitely, let's get to it.
All right, for sure. A little more. King's Blood Gaming, what's going on, good brother? How you feeling, my man? What you been got going on with yourself?
Oh,
As the
man.
room is filling up, talk to me.
Good brother, man. I'm fresh off, ready to talk about this PUBG thing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I put out a video about it yesterday, but I want to talk about it on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in podcast format.
Get into it. Yeah, podcast format. It's a mini pod. It's a mini pod. Broadband bullies, man.
All right,
now.
For sure. Let me go on my Twitter. Shout out to everybody that said in the chat as you join in. As you come in, take your coat off, put your feet up. You're gonna be entertained today. Let's hit the like button, right? The admission to this show today. I gotta get back. We gotta do the show for the Patreon too. And shout out to Super Jamaican. This got down with the Patreon. I appreciate it, Super Jamaican. We got to also too. We ain't done one in a minute, but we got to somehow throw the show for, like I said, for the Patreon. We got to get that in. But anyway, actually, I'm gonna post this on the Patreon as we're speaking. Oh, so as I was saying, as people were joining, so a few people. It started last Sunday, believe it or not. Last Monday, we did BGST Monday, right? And I want to say this: the biggest. Listen, I understand that. Let me say this first of all. Let me get the disclaimer right here. When I structure these shows, right? Whatever I do, I try to make them all different. I want to say this, right? So I understand that BGST Fanboy Podcast is this way that it's been geared. Then we do the Beast Fire, and it's more of a level-headed Xbox show. Then we got the multiplayer, which is a straight console war type show. We get it. L's be handed out, right? But like I said, a big misconception, even like I said, when BGST or anything, that we don't have a difference of opinions. You know what I mean? Like, I Xbox guy, but like I said, maybe I'm not the typical guy. I don't care for Halo. I've never really been a big, huge Halo guy. But I will say that it was favorable, believe it or not, to make me an Xbox guy. You know what I mean? But what I find, I won't say not that I care, but what I find funny when I don't have, so when I have an opinion about Microsoft that may not be favorable, you know what I mean, that's not pro Microsoft, or things I think they should do to be better. Because I guarantee you, 9 times, well, 10 out of 10, I'll bet my last dollar on it. If 343 come out with a game outside of Halo, motherfuckers gonna be running around making a video hyping up. Oh, Microsoft delivers new, you know what I mean? Or if what's the guys that do or to do the Gears of War, Black Tusk Studios, or the Coalition. I'm sorry, if they come out something outside of the Gears universe, they're gonna be running hyping this up and throwing it on their list wars. It is what it is. I mean, and I'm gonna say this again. When I came to YouTube, and like I say, I quote unquote stumbled upon this community. I believe it or not, first channels I saw was some Nintendo channels. It was actually Shokyo was the first channel I ever seen on YouTube. As far as gaming wise, I didn't even know there was a YouTube. Shout out to that weird ass dude too. I didn't even know that YouTube had a gaming community, and he was talking about the Xbox 720 versus the PlayStation 4, how they wasn't going to be that much powerful than the Wii U. Go figure, right? So I was like, oh shit, I can do this. And believe it or not, I didn't have a video. I actually have a debate. But he put my name wrong. It was I had 5,000 or something. I debated him. I thought it was a discussion, but I didn't know this is what he do. Bring people to try to debate him. That's why I was new to this. But even then, held my own dead circles around him. So with that, so you know what I mean, I was finding crazy that was actually grown ass men, right? And I'm not taking a shot at anyone's manhood. Maybe I am. I'm a piece of shit. That was actually the Wii was their preferred console of choice. Like, whoa, not that. Listen, I can see people said the GameCube or whatever, but the Wii, I'm like, man, these jokers, they on one right here. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus. Then I seen Dr. Trey doing his Wii dance and shit. So these motherfuckers here suspect. All these motherfuckers dealing from the bottom of the deck, right? I'm like, yo, what the fuck going on here? This shit kind of spooky and shit, right? So, you know what I mean? I said, I can do this. And I started doing my own thing, you know what I mean? And I'm going to say this. When I first started doing this, it wasn't so much Xbox versus PlayStation, to be honest with you. It was more of Xbox and PlayStation on the same side. And it was, I say, banging on the Wii jokers because the Wii was the console leader. I mean, it is what it is, right? This is back in 2012 that I can recall, the circles that I ran in, right? So anyway, right, check this out. So when I voiced my issues or my concerns with what I think the direction of Microsoft is going, what they could be doing better, you know what I mean? Or they say I'm over exaggerating. And when I say, or the fact that we got, what's it? Zoo Tycoon and Lucky Tales or whatever, that's not a big deal. Like, that's not a big issue. Give them time. Give them time. The games are coming. The games are coming, right? And I say, I'm gonna get to my shit. I'm gonna be kind of long-winded. I just want to put everything in perspective, okay? I just without the theatrics, okay? And then when you look at how should I say this? They say the games are coming, right? And then when you have, I understand, they say the games are coming fine. But to me, maybe you guys may feel different. All of Microsoft wounds this generation have been self-inflicted. You know what I mean? Whether it's their messaging at the start of the generations, like they did more damage to something than Sony. Like I said, with their messaging, it's been all over the world. You know what I mean? Went from we got exclusive, we got games to Windows anywhere, play anywhere, and they putting their hat on that. And I'm not knocking those that like it, but understand that gaming is a very selfish hobby. What you play, I don't enjoy. What you eat don't make me shit. Makes sense, right? And I always thought that, hey, maybe I'm a little old. Maybe I'm like the last of a dying breed. It's not about PC guys getting to play it. I always said, like, damn, there are, whether people think it or not, there are a large amount of people that they're and especially in this community, that their combination is the PS4 and PC, because they feel as though they can't get Xbox. I mean, they can't get PlayStation games on PC. All right, fine. But I'm from the old school. You got to leave some value to your console. Boom, done. Right. So what I'm saying now, right? And do I embellish a lot? Yes. I have fun. It's entertainment. This is not nothing new. I've been saying this for the last 2.5 years. Before the IGNs and they start talking about there's a problem about Microsoft, whatever, having exclusives. And I tell you guys this time and time again. I know some people. Sometimes I'm privy to stuff that I don't go out and run my mouth about, because I don't pride myself in what you call being an industry insider. I don't care about any of that. This is the guys on the street. This last time I'm gonna say this. I never cared about who made a game growing up. Like, that doesn't. Who's a developer? Do I have developers that follow me on Twitter? Yes. Do I have someone to DM me? Yes. You know what I mean? Do I make a big deal of it? No, it's not a big deal, right? To me, it's not, okay? With that being said, but they say that I'm overreacting or exaggerating when I say that this year, as far as games, Zoo Tycoon, Lucky Tail, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they go, and this is the problem I don't understand about Xbox guys. But what is Sony do? We're not talking about Sony. Stop with that. We're talking about Microsoft, okay? And what made me an Xbox fan. I understand. You're not debating against another Sony guy. We're just talking amongst ourselves and what can make the Xbox platform better. You understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
But they come with the first thing they say is, what about Microsoft? I mean, what about Sony? I can care less about Sony, honestly. You know what I mean? We're talking amongst each other what they can do. It's like when when Maya does something, right? Well, my other daughter, Mama. Well, Mama did. No, we're not talking about Mama. We're talking about what you did. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like I said, maybe I made him. Maybe no. Listen, I'm saying this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I thought that I came with the whole term Sony pony, Wii U weirdos, and all that stuff. Because I just thought those guys just took everything that Sony and Nintendo did, and you know what I mean. Boom, right? Yeah. I didn't think Xbox guys were the same way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got guys out there saying that 30 frames is better than 60 frames. So, I didn't heard some wild shit. Like, I ain't lying. Like I didn't heard some wild shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But somebody say, look at like I'm bugging. It's like, so again, I had to put that out at the beginning before I get the cutting up and get the drinking and shit. That's what it is in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? But like I said, what are you guys' thoughts? Look, you may feel different. I know, Post, you went back and forth. Maybe you feel different. Am I bugging, or am I over, reaching or over, exaggerating? Or did the ponies wear off on me? Talk to me.
I will go first since I haven't been on in a while.
Hold on, you got to introduce yourself to the group as if we're having like an intervention or something like that. One of them alcohol and what is that? Anonymous alcohol, something like that.
Yeah. Where's your worksheet with what you want Z to start improving on?
Yeah. I mean, I look at it like this. Pretty much. One of the things that make us different, that make us unique as human beings, is our differences. Us being that we're not all alike. We all don't think alike. We do things different. We have different opinions and feelings. We look at and perceive things different. That's what makes us unique. I think in retrospect, growing up, back in the day, you was able to have an opinion, even if someone didn't agree with you. You might debate, y'all might argue, or you might agree to disagree, but at the end, they respected your opinion. I think in this generation where we're at right now, opinions have been thrown out you can't have one. It's like you can't have, and this is not just in the gaming industry. This is in the music industry, in any other industry. If you don't like a certain artist, you can't have that opinion of not liking them. You just automatically hate it, and the same apply in the gaming industry. You have an opinion towards Microsoft, even though you're invested in the ecosystem, and all of a sudden you're siding with the Sony fans and you're hating on Microsoft. This is ludicrous. This is crazy. Look, we're talking about Microsoft. Sony ain't got nothing to do with what we're discussing. And even if so, you can't negate the output of software that Sony has been putting out throughout the year, block that out, and then say, well, what do they have to come out on the holiday? No, you can't do that. They've been pretty much strong throughout the year. But in regards to Microsoft themselves, if I'm invested in the ecosystem, I have every right to constructively criticize. I'm not criticizing them. I'm constructively criticizing them because I want more out of my investment. Because I believe in them enough to tell them the truth and the things that they can do better. Okay, and you get thrown under the thrown to the wolves just for doing that. It's crazy. And as far as this PUBG thing with the 30 frames and the 60 frames per second thing, frame rate does not make you move faster than others. I just want to clear I just want to clear that up. Let's clear that up. Let's clear that up right now. what frame rate does is it gives you a smoother gameplay experience. It gives you less input lag, a more stable experience across the board. You know, it gives you steady input lag and consistent visual feedback. Pretty much. Um, this notion that if the X is 60 frames per second and the S or the one is 30, then there's this huge advantage is nonsense. I take that back to the multiplayer Gears of War we was playing with Turp. And he was on a PC. And we was playing the multiplayer. And he was playing Gears at 100 frames per second on the PC. Now Turk is a dope Gears player. He can play. He can really play. That did not stop him from getting killed with the people in the party who had controllers. It did
Oh
not
yeah.
stop him from getting killed. He did. He got a lot of kills. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing, but he got killed. It was no advantage. If I'm running at 60 on my TV, that means I'm just seeing a smoother experience on my end than from what you're probably seeing on your end. But that don't mean it's an advantage there because PC players play people with 100 frames, 55, 60 frames, different frames across the board every day,
Talk to him.
and it doesn't affect the gameplay experience. So why are people thinking just because the X is having running 60 and the Xbox One is running 30 that is going to be some type of advantage? No, we're gonna you pay what you get what you pay for. Okay, I invested $500 in the X. Phil told me it was a premium console. I want the premium experience. They told developers you don't have no parity in regards to resolution or frame rate. You can do whatever you want. You want to run the 60 on the X and have it 30 on the X. We're not going to stop you. Well, make it happen then. Make it happen then. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let y'all go. I got some more, but that's my 2 cents so far. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No doubt, no doubt. Good. You want to go, Garrett?
Nah, brother, that's all you. Go ahead.
All right. So here's the thing, man. Z, you are over exaggerating. Psych. No. Look,
Cool.
here's
Hey,
the
man,
thing.
cool. That's cool.
No.
Cool.
Oh hell no, you ain't.
No,
Because
okay.
here's the problem. Here's the problem, bro. This whole discussion is paramount and fundamental. I hate to pull out the thesaurus, but it's needed because it's separating, like you say, the real from the bullshit. It's separating the wood buffers from the motherfuckers that are that are Microsoft enthusiasts. The wood buffers, anything Microsoft do, they can't do no wrong, or anything, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to have that type of discussion where just sit back and wait and let them do whatever they're going to do. But let me explain something to you. Microsoft is a Fortune 500 company. They have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of employees. What is the point of having all those employees if they can only focus on one thing at a time? What Shannon Loftus is working on the console too? No. Where are the games? While they were sitting there trying to build this new next generation console or mid-generation console, where was her plugging that groundwork for the better games? You know what I'm saying? So you have a legitimate beef. I have the same concern. I don't get where people want to shut down your voice or shut down that opinion, whether it's coming from you or not, because you're bringing up a legitimate question. Why is this company full of so many people and full of so many resources not able to have a contingency plan? Oh, our original console this generation had a problem, so we got to come up with the new one. But Shannon, while we're doing this, make sure you on your job about these new, games. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that whatsoever. And anybody trying to shut that down, I think, is on the side of the wood buffer. That's my 2 cents.
Hold on. I go to the super chat. Shout out to Yoonji. I hope I pronounced your name right. He says that Crab Gamer has become a creepy cult leader. Jesus Christ! If you tell him you have concerns about the Xbox, he deflects to the top and talks shit about the PlayStation 4. His name was MBiz. That was his name.
That's called derailing.
Jones. God damn.
That's called derailing.
His name was MBiz. I'm sorry, I got his name right.
That's
MBiz.
called derailing and controlling the narrative in the subject line. We're not gonna do that. We don't do that on Broadband Bullies. We keep it real, not
Exactly.
only in gaming, but we keep it real with each other. Stuff that goes on behind the scene where we be 100 to each other that y'all may never get a chance to see. That's how truthful and honest we are, not only with us, but with you all in the chat. Now I want to elaborate on what Moss was saying about Microsoft. I understand, Phil, because we finna talk about it today. This is gonna be a
Yeah,
great show.
please,
Y'all
yeah.
might as well hit the like button.
Hold on 1 second, show. First of all, shout out to Show Shady. He played a few games with us. He said something here before I lose his comment. It just took me about 5 minutes to say it. He says, Z, your argument is look at what Sony did with The Last of Us and Horizon Zero Dawn. We should do that with our studios. So you do talk Sony as is the basis of your argument. That's not what I'm saying, but I guess you wanted, I guess we will deal with semantics.
So Sadie, you're looking at that wrong. He's using Sony as an example.
Okay.
And his argument, he uses Sony as an example in the argument. That's all as far as what Microsoft should be doing now. And that's where I'm going to with that too, because in the past on these podcasts I have praised Phil for getting the software and services and getting the services as far as Xbox Live and the OS back on par and getting the hardware there. But just because like Moss was saying, you got hundreds of thousands of employees. Just because you're focused on Xbox Live, the OS, and the hardware, that doesn't stop you from building a software lineup.
What's the point of the other employees?
What's the point of these other studios you got? What's the point of that you can go out and say, hey, we finna work on this or this. I want you over here doing this. You know what I'm saying?
That was that budget, boy.
Yeah, unless that's what I was getting to. Unless the allocations of funds was a little iffy, and that he was only able to work with the funds that he was given. He had to make a choice on how he wanted to allocate those funds, and he chose Xbox Live OS and the hardware first. That had to be an issue, because other than that, I don't see nothing stopping you from multitasking. Every job asks you to multitask. Every job you have ever worked for, and even the job you work for now, rely on you to not just do one thing, but do multiple things. Let's talk about it, Z. Go ahead.
A post. I mean, not post. Yeah, pop off. Check your inbox, bro. I think I sent you on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw one on Facebook too.
Oh, you said it?
Yeah, I sent it to you in your Facebook thing, pop off. If you want to join. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So, having an opinion about something should never bother you, should never bother another person. Like the people who have something to say about this, like how can you be mad at me for wanting the best out of the console I prefer? You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it, King. Like, talk about it.
Number one, everybody keeps crying about this frame rate thing. Like I couldn't believe the amount of people I seen crying about this stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Like I knew it. You knew because you know how soft Microsoft is. You know how that microtransactions thing blew up so fast. I know Microsoft's like, oh hell no, they're gonna be telling people you get an advantage. Nah, cut that down to 30. You can't tell me.
Yep.
Phil didn't give Brendan Green that call, Mr. Player Unknown. You can't tell me he didn't call him, yo, cut that back to 30, big fella. We can't do this today. You know what I'm saying? We can't afford this right now. We just getting back right. Trust me when I tell you. And they got to put out something to show people that's not really a big difference. Like the fact that you and all of us have different TVs. Z plays his TV with all the damn settings on, so he getting like 100 milliseconds of input lag. You know what I'm saying? We'll never have the same reaction time anyway. Like everybody, a lot of people got it. A lot of people got it mixed up with input lag. Even if it was, we'll never have that same input lag. Trust me. A lot of times,
different TVs perform differently.
Exactly. I got a KS 8000. I think it's like 23 milliseconds of input lag. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, that has nothing to do with frames. But that's what their main argument is. You know what I'm saying? They believe that this is what this is. No, it's not.
Be able to respond fast.
And you know what? I'm about to show people something crazy. Trust me. Yo, I'm not gonna tell people what this video is I'm about to work on, but bunk all that. You know me. I'm a debunker with these skills though.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, it has to, because this thing is going too far, man. And to these because I've been seeing on Twitter people who've been unsubscribing to people Twitter accounts and things like that. People saying I'm not following you no more because you're saying these things about Microsoft. This is ludicrous. And if you feel that way, unfollow me on anything, even my YouTube channel, because I don't need that type of energy around me. Like I said, growing up, outside of this game and shit, I do music. Okay. I write, produce, and all that. Growing up, I used to be this guy that used to hang with my cousin. Super dope rap. Every time he saw me, he used to ask me to spit something, right? Just to see where I was at. And every time he stayed brutally honest with me. He was brutally honest with me, saying, "Hey, you need to work on this. You need to step your game up." He said, "I got young boys out here driving Lamborghinis off of rooftops. You need," meaning that it was other guys out there at my age at that particular time was either doing a lot better or even outworking me. You need to step your game up. I did not take that as something negative. I took it as him wanting him challenging me. The same way C is challenging Microsoft. And there's nothing wrong with that. He was telling me, do not be content with what you're producing right now. And Z is saying, I am not content with what Microsoft is producing right now. Okay, we finna talk about it today. I'm going there. We are not content with what Microsoft is producing right now. Does that make us Sony fans? No, I don't even own a PlayStation. So why would anything that Sony does apply to me or affect me if we're strictly talking about the production software-wise of what Microsoft is putting out?
No,
okay.
No, I do want to. I post up. I do want to put this out there. Let's be real. No super new video game is about to come out anytime soon. We already know that apparently they skipped their job on the software front for a few years, because you think about it, games take like 2 to 3 years. So basically somewhere between 2013 to 2015, these dudes been sleeping. I don't know what they've been, maybe I don't know. Like, it must have been allocation of funds for the Xbox One X. It's true. They've been sleeping. So like I don't mind falling back talking about, you know what I mean, what game we got to compete with God of War when it comes out. Like I'm not worried about that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I am gonna be back on that when E3 get here. I will be back on that. But when you gotta give me like PUBG and you fuck that up, come on, man. Like, oh my God, this is a gimme. This is an easy one. And then you got guys talking about, well, you know, it's just in the preview program. I don't know if you guys know or not, or you never. A lot of these guys never played this game, so they don't know what's what. This game is basically done right now. Like the one of the finished codes is like sitting in the test server right now. All they had to put in there was vaulting. Like I asked the dude, he was like, "Yeah, they got to put the vaulting on." I said, "What's vaulting?" he couldn't answer. Vaulting is jumping through the window, like in Call of Duty when you jump over fences and shit. Like that's it.
They released the final product in December, right?
This game is not. It's not like super demanding. It does have a lot of frame drops on PC, especially when you're over like 1080p, but it's not super demanding like people think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing but a glorified game of King of the Hill. Picture y'all play that Gears of War shit, right? So picture a 5-mile map with a circle that keeps getting smaller. You just gotta keep standing in a circle and killing people until the last one left. That's it. There's no campaign mode. There's nothing deep. There's no real depth to this game. It's the same thing over and over again. When you die, it ain't no respawn. You be right back. It's nothing but battle royale mode on what's that trash y'all play? Fortnite. That's all it is. That's it. There's nothing else to it. The game is only like 6 gigabytes on PC.
But and ain't it too, Garrett? Ain't that's the, I mean, what's the PUBG is a slither of Armor 3. You know what I'm saying? It's the Armor 3 mod. So you know you got a lot of the stuff that, if I'm right, you got a lot of the stuff that was built already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. The same thing with Daisy. A lot of that stuff is built off the same, and a lot of stuff is using Unreal Engine assets. You You know what I'm saying? Just regular Unreal Engine assets. So, King was saying that the optimization that we're trying to find on the console is not even really there on the PC because they still experience dips in frame rate. But
Right.
based on the PC, you might be able to
See, the
brute
difference
force it
between
up to some higher frame rates.
yeah, see the difference between a console and a PC is that we be having over 100 frames per like us high end PC owners, we have over 100 frames a second. I mean, you know, 100 frames per second. So our dip might drop to like 90 something. That's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like my monitor, only thing the highest I can see, the highest that's even noticeable on my monitor is 100. So I've never really seen it dip.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh.
it is what it is. You know, like. But it's just crazy how people are just so I don't know, like they're just so like they let the damage control so much, bro. Like I'd be like, God damn, just stop it, bro.
I would say this though. Not in regards to PUBG, but in regards to the Microsoft situation. The only way I will correlate this to Sony is that with the situation that Microsoft is going through now, and Sony constantly putting out games and making these announcements, it makes it even worse. And that's where the real anger is coming from in regards to a lot of people in the community. The fact that we know games is coming, but while they're being made, this is going to be a long time before we see them. Sony is steady. Okay, this is coming out. This finna come out. This finna come. Despite them not having nothing pretty much around the holiday, but they finna come. The beginning of the year is nothing. January is around the corner. These months going by fast. People acting like these months is slow. Time is moving fast. People acting like these months is slow. January, February, March. March ain't too far away when God of War about to drop. You know what I'm saying? So that's what make it worse. No, that's the way I will correlate put Sony in the picture. The fact that they was be consistent with their content, whether it's been third party or first party, and then they steady announcing games. They finna announce some more games at PSX, and Microsoft is just sitting here quiet and that C say, "So Tycoon."
Yeah. Check it out. Hey, first of all, hey, E.S. Hawkins, man, you gotta forgive me, man. I was on that yak. You know, and you do listen. You Maya, stop, please. I was on that yak, so you felt like I scraped on you yesterday. I was on that yak in that mouth, Gip. But and listen, shout out, listen. I got about 200 people here watching live. As you come in, because I'm competing with a couple of shows right there, you know what I mean? Hit the like button, man. You know what I mean? Let's rocking out with the broadband bullies today, right? E.S. Hawkins, again, not to single you out, but I read every comment that you leave are always pro Microsoft, right? And which is cool. It's not a problem, right? I get it, all right? It says, Zaire, you called me I do apologize on your dick liquor and a Microsoft prudent. I know Microsoft fucks up, but my thing with the broadband bullies and you, Maya, did I just ask you to stop? My thing with you with the broadband bullies, and you never appreciate the great stuff that Microsoft does.
Wow.
And I ask you this, okay? I give credit where credit is due. So you guys again.
Can I just say something to that? And I'm gonna let you finish, Z.
Hold on 1 second. Maya, put that ball on the front on the sun porch, please. Thank you. I would hate to beat you on this live stream. I go to jail. Thank you. If you value your father's freedom. All right, I'm sorry. I'm back with you. Good. You want to say something?
My thing is this: did you or did you not make a video praising how good the X is?
Oh yes.
Did everybody in here not make a video praising how great the X is and how Microsoft did a great job on it? Did we or did we not praise how great Forza 7 is? People try to tell me, oh no. What's the name looks better than Forza 7? Nope. There's nothing you can tell me. I don't care what my man from Digital Foundry tell me. I'm rocking with Forza.
Z was just on here the other day with my same man's in the chat. Praising PUBG.
No. We're not about to do this. Look at my man's track record. Go back to it. We ain't about to do this.
Yeah.
We ain't got to judge the man over a few videos.
Z
Go
sold
back
the
and
crown, for God's sake.
you go back and look at his track record and see why they call him Xbox and every other
Exactly. That's
derogatory Xbox name that they got out there. Go look at his track record.
Yep.
And might I say, he's probably the only one on that ain't deleted a video, even though he's might been wrong on certain occasions. Them videos are still up. People still go back to him. Go look at his track record, player.
Yeah. And again, so it's that, and again, I understand at the end of the day, we all have an opinion, right? But I always say this, nigga, maybe I give myself too much credit, right? I'm not one of these I won't even say Xbox, I'm gonna say on these gaming channels. I make it known that I'm making the call that I am an Xbox guy, an Xbox, you can call me a fanboy, whatever. I am a gamer, but I prefer the Xbox, all right? Maybe I'm a little biased, right? So I'm not one of these guys that claim to be neutral, that just hate on the Xbox or whatever the case, for everything. I'm not that guy. But I feel like when I voice my opinion, maybe I thought my opinion may hold a little bit more weight in the community. And maybe, and again, I would hate to say maybe it's not the context of my character, but maybe the color of my skin. And there I go there. But that it's coming from a valid point. I'm not one of these guys with an Easter egg on Twitter, exploring a bunch of hate and everything that Mike. No, it's not like that. I listen, but I don't have a problem holding their feet to the I'll give you an example, okay? I believe you were one of the ones also to E.S. Hawkins. When I said that Crackdown looked like dog shit, right? What did they tell me? They told me to wait to Comic-Con. Now, listen, I may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I damn sure ain't the dullest. She said, Z, don't worry about it. They got something coming with that Comic-Con. I stopped my live stream, turned around, watched Comic-Con on Mixer. The following day, it might have been BGST or one of them other dog shit shows that I do. And I said that Crackdown looked like dog shit. They called me everything but a child of God. They said, well, Crackdown has never been about the visuals, Z. Now you're just trolling. Now you're this, that, and the other, right? And then when you had Shannon Lobster said that they held Crackdown back because of the visual fidelity, the graphics, to revamp that.
And that was me, and I still stand by. I was one of the ones that told Z that it was never about
that game looked like. I understand that, but that looked like shit.
and I still stand by that it was always about gameplay. But
I'm not comparing that. I'm not listening. Here's the thing. I'm not saying it should look as good as Gears of War.
Yeah, but
I'm saying in this day and exactly, it didn't look that much to me better graphically than the 360 title, and they should have showed it in its best light. Running on the X, and what they couldn't show the X because it didn't pass it.
That's another thing. That's another thing, and that's why you got to put blame to Microsoft because you get to control how your software is perceived. You get to control. So if you're gonna display, say like Crackdown in this case, you make sure you putting that controller or have that controller in the hands of someone that know what they're doing. Because if you get what people are perceiving to be a bad looking game on top of the controller in somebody's hand that don't know what they're doing and don't know how to play the game, it's gonna make it look even worse.
Exactly.
And you got to hold Microsoft accountable for that, or at least they marketing department or whoever controlling that to put that out there to show your game in the best light. And one thing I will give Sony credit for is that they show their games in the best possible light, even if it's CGI. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a CGI trend, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But here's what continues to happen. Yo, they had some crazy drunken actor playing Crackdown 3. That's why it looked bad. Yo, that was Bluehole that made that mistake. That's why the messaging was off. Yo, the displays ain't out there because of the FCC. Yo, you talking about Z wood buffing, or are you Z going off the rails? You know what I'm saying? You wood buffing extraordinaire. And we're not about that here. We're gonna lay the dice where it needs to be laid. Microsoft needs to control their message. They're a Fortune 500 company with hundreds, if not thousands, of employees. Xbox need to step up their game when it comes to their messaging and get everything in control. Like Post Up just said, you don't see these flip ups from Sony. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. So just stop.
Look at my screen.
Sony have had their time, but Microsoft Messages this year has been sporadic. They'll say one thing and then they'll come back, retract it, and say something else. Yeah.
Look at every.
This is unoptimized. This is unoptimized.
So when I say, right, and people say, you know, because I also said that there were going to be some games that are going to be 60 frames and maybe even 30 frames on the X, on the standard, right? And I tell you guys, I know some people that know some people, right? Player knows Battleground. This is 1 week of them having a dev kit. The game was running between 30. Actually, I heard it was up to 42 frames on the Xbox One X, right? Now this developer that came out and made this statement to the press, to the public. This wasn't the guy that got the information, you know, the janitor at Ubisoft. It's the head man. You know what I mean? So, you know, so when he come out and say that, hey, the game is going to be 60 on the X, like, again, this is not this is the guy, the creator. He said the game is going to be 60 on the X. They're going to try their best, their hardest, or whatever the case, for the standard Xbox. Okay. So when I kind of, and again, it's not about me stubbing my nose on for those who have this regular, but if I'm buying a premium console, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be, because remember Microsoft said that they wouldn't, because it was a backlash. Like, you know, they first said all frames would be the same, and people was like, oh, like, you know, like if it was, you know, because there are some games that are 30, but the console can get 60. I'm paying for 60 premium price. They said they wouldn't mandate frame it to be up to the developers, right? But I know, you know, plus I heard some people know some people, there was some bullshit, okay? It was the backlash, and it was crazy as hell to me, right? Some of these pro Xbox guys, I say, I'll be wary of those comparing gifts, right? That said they would take 1080p 60 over 4K 30, or even not even say pro Xbox, even some Sony, you know, whatever. There was a lot of Sony guys in there. But I would take 1080 60 or a piece of 1080 60 over 4K 30 any day of the week, right? And but these are the same ones was saying it wouldn't be right to give 60 to the X and 30. Like what are we doing here? Not everyone has a fight stick. Not everyone has a steering wheel. You get what you pay for. And listen, and let's just like this is saying, if I can, it's like this right here reminds me of a communist country, right? They put a cap on what I can earn, you know what I mean, or what I can, you know, do, you know what I mean? Everything's gonna be fair. If I went out and bought a $500 console, right, and it's gonna give me the same performance as a $200 console, what's fair about that? Yeah. What's like I understand, you know, in Microsoft, again, like I said, they're afraid of their own shadow. You know, I understand that people complain or whatever the case, but what are they going to do? Run back to you and here, give me my $200. They done bought your console already. You're trying to sell a new console, because I'm gonna say this. Last thing I'm gonna say, I want you guys talk. Not everybody, so they say, you can't tell the difference on Digital Foundry between the games, the resolution. You know, they looked at it's not that big of a deal, the graphics. But one thing you can tell the difference from, well, it doesn't matter to how the frame rates. Okay. You guys always, this whole generation, their frame rates matter most. And if they're not saying, if this is the case, that they're going to, I should just say, tie the frame rates together, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, that's wrong. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't nobody, you know what I mean? It's like parody. Remember this hashtag no parody? You remember that shit there? Shout out to my man Boogie. Cool, can I talk to him all the time? You know, hashtag no parity. You remember that when Assassin's Creed, what was one, Origin, whatever, damn Assassin's Creed came out, it was 900p on the Xbox, then 900p on the PS4. They were saying that, you know, the PS4, the Xbox One version was a hole in the Xbox back. You had all these angry Joes, the boogies, hashtag no parity. And I said then, check it out. I said that, because I know some people, I said that I don't want parity. If it was something that the Xbox can do that Sony can't do, go for it. Like the dedicators are fine. I don't want no console holding each other back, okay? But I said maybe, just maybe, it may be the other way around. Maybe the PS4 is holding the Xbox one. You know what I mean? Because some engines are, I mean, I'm a little over-exaggerating with that, but some engines are more CPU heavy than GPU. We all know that the Xbox has a slightly beefier GPU, clock higher than the standard PS4. So then when, you know, Ubisoft came out and made that statement and said it's not the console's GPUs, it's the CPU that's, you know, holding it back in 900p. And everything. Ooh. But again, I said this again. So in 1 week, having a dev kit, they was able to get this up to 42 frames. This game comes out December 12th. December 12th. You understand what I'm saying? So
I would say this. Z. I would say two things.
Hey, Pooh,
go ahead.
Let me put this out there for you. Go
Go ahead.
If these guys wouldn't have worried about all that what is it, resolution difference at the beginning of this generation, it would be 60 frames on a regular Xbox. But see, you guys are going to cry about, oh, well, it's only 720p, not knowing that PUBG is not a beautiful game. You know what I'm saying? If you dropped it to 720p for the regular Xbox, it would probably hit 60, probably with low settings and stuff like that. So just let it. It doesn't matter. It's not about what you're looking at in that game. You just shooting people. I play at 1440p low settings, but like I think what I play, like high textures and high draw distance. That's it. Everything else is low. In fact, it's like very low or whatever it is. I'm not sure what the settings are, but it's like whatever is the lowest setting. Like nobody cares about that. But except for console gamers, for some reason they just so resolution gate fucked up this generation. Bro.
Yeah, yes it did.
It did, no doubt.
It really fucked it.
Yes, it did. I want to elaborate on what Garrett said and say some things too. What he just said is fact. In this case with PUBG, it's not so much about how the game looks. It's the gameplay aspect. It's the depth. It's the last man standing field, the 100 people in this battle arena, and I got to be the last man, working together as a team, calling things out. Like I seen one of their live streams. But they was playing and they called it, one in the hill, one over there. Blah, blah. Let's go over here. Let's go pick this up. Watch. It's that togetherness, that teamwork, that cohesiveness that brings fun to this game. And I know a lot of people on the PC that lowers the settings on this game to get steady frames because they don't care about that. They trying to get a chicken dinner. Okay. Okay. Right. The second thing I want to say is the same people that's complaining about an advantage. It's the same people that's sitting on Xbox Live right now with an Xbox Elite controller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look, can let me go ahead, Poster. My bad.
And you could go because I forgot. I gotta remember the third thing I want to say.
Well, as far as the advantage thing,
I'm cooking today, baby.
But the advantage thing and the frames per second and all that craziness. Let me explain something to people because they don't dip and dab between PC and console. All right, not too long ago there was a game called Just Cause 2. Okay, and before Just Cause 3 came out, Just Cause 2 had a mod that made it play like GTA. It was GTA Online. So it was GTA Online before GTA Online came out. There they had a frames per second scale where you could check your, and they had optimized some things. So your frames per second was going anywhere between 50 to, like Garrett said, 100, all the other stuff. Nobody was outdoing anybody on those frames per second, and the game did not look beautiful. It was just the simple fact that you could get a whole bunch of people on the screen, cause some havoc, do some crazy stuff, something that wasn't done before. Like Garrett just said, that's the same theory for PUBG, the same theory for PUBG. You don't hear nobody say PUBG is beautiful on the PC. Nobody says it. It's all about the game experience. It's unique. It's been crafted differently. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about the gameplay. So all those that sit there and say, yo, the frames per second is going to be a deterrent because it's not a certain way on the S, that's stupid. All right. The last thing what I want to finish off with is I get that Microsoft may have had problems as far as budget is concerned. But again, this is a Fortune 500 company, and what something has to be done is called contingency plans. But you got to go business as usual. So when you have a problem like, oh, we got to pump a little bit more money into this, yeah, you may take something out from somewhere else or allocate it from somewhere else, but you don't shut off your business as usual, which is getting more games. Okay, so regardless of what was going on, Microsoft should have had a contingency plan to at least be pumping out more quality or a couple more games while they were going through this issue with this contingency plan.
Man, when I first looked at PUBG, I was like, what is this? what is this? But if you actually take the time out to look at the stream and look at the gameplay, like, you have to think methodically. You have to be in sync with your team. You have to be real smart about how you approach things. You got to be aware in the game, and it's a challenging game, and that's why it's doing so well. I do want to say this before anybody say that I've backtracked. I know in the past on these podcasts I have championed the decisions Phil had made in regards to Xbox Live, the OS, and the hardware. And I have stated in the past that, hey, we have to wait on these games, which we do. Is whether we complain about them or not, we still have to wait on these games. But like I said, it makes it worse when the competition is steady pumping out software. But I still stand by Champion what he's done so far, and that the fact that we do have to wait on these games, it just make it hard when your competition is pumping out so many games and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where we at, man. We had to check a few things today, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, but, well, I'm sorry. Okay, go.
No, we just had to talk about. Go ahead, play. Let's go. I'm on fire.
No. Hold on. Give me one. I was posting, like I said, to the site as you guys were talking. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean. I want to say if we get the hell of it, we ain't gonna be too long. You know, you keep beating the dead dog with a stick. Saturday, like I said, everybody in the chat, you'd be so kind to hit the like button if you didn't catch the show from the beginning. Rewind it back as you're joining. I want to say this, right? All right. And I got a big, I say, pushback or backlash from this right here, from this narrative, right? When I always say that, you know what I mean, and I take it, and people act like, you know, or even I heard he said, oh, next gen doesn't like me, Zaire doesn't like me. It's not as far as anything the truth. I'm just being realistically, you know, what's going on here. I always say, like, again, like, you know, this generation started in 2013. Phil took over maybe spring of 2014, right? Okay. And talking about as far as game wise, if you know what I mean, if you want to forget the console power, or just as far as game wise, I always say, like, what has Phil Spencer done? You know, besides take the Kinect out of the box, that no brainer to have you singing his praise. And I think the fact that, you know, Phil was such a nice guy, you know, he doesn't like the console, which bullshit, because this is, you know, the fact that people going back and forth, you know, I won't say arguing, but, you know, I guess it's the nature of man to validate their purchase. I'm a very, very small potato in the stew of here YouTubers, and I've got 100 times. Thanks to you, next thing I got this or I got that. Okay, so the fact that it's called free promotion, free advertising, that I'm on my own channel, talking about their product, and they're not paying me a dime, right? Cool. Now, with that being said, right, so under Phil, and again, that's what sometimes I question the direction, and for good, like I said, you know, they knew back in 2014. I mean, I guess they couldn't foresee for the foreseeable future of Scalebound maybe being canceled. That came out of nowhere, but even Scalebound got okay from Donnie D, right? So, you know, as far as game wise, you know, when you have Capcom said that they're out there selling IPs, now rumor has it. Here's the rumor, right? The rumor has it that Devil May Cry 5 is going to be an exclusive for the PlayStation 4. You know what I mean? Which is huge. The next Street Fighter game they're going to show this at this new Sony show, that's an exclusive, right? Maybe you may not be into fighters, cool, but I like fighters. The next Street Fighter game is also a PlayStation exclusive, right? So my thing is, so when they say that they're selling IPs, right, and you know that you're in your own portfolio, whatever the case, whether you like the talent, you refuse to go out there and buy the talent, whatever the case, Capcom, you know, whether you agree with their business plan, they have a lot of classic IPs that Microsoft could get behind and push and give it that, you know, that AAA like they do with Gears, Forza, and Halo and stuff. You know what I mean? You got games like, a lot of shit. You know, Mega Man. I'm not really into Mega Man, but we all know the game. Lost Planet. Yeah, that was something that started on the Xbox. A lot of stuff can be revamped for this generation. But I never cared for Dead Rising. But you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My question is, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, I you know what I mean? When I hate to say, are they serious about? I know this is what it is. I don't think they care about winning. Microsoft cares about
exactly
making as much money, and you know, because believe it or not, when it comes to gaming, whether you choose it, Microsoft has their hands in everybody's pockets. The tools, the programs that they use to make their games, Microsoft owns. And Microsoft owns every goddamn thing. Like, so much shit, right? I was talking to the developer, right? And you know what I mean, and I never really talk because I don't care about who makes the most money, but he was just saying, you know, like how much money they're making and just off of gaming that they don't even talk about, even brag about, right? And that's why what's the guy named Todd Sweeney from Epic went off talking about this, what they trying to do with the Windows. So like, you guys are trying to run everything. We hit that mental meltdown because literally Microsoft gets paid off. Every goddamn thing, Havoc engine, this and that, this shit, every goddamn thing. I'll give you an example, right? It's a little, how you say, FYI. Back in the 6th generation, you had the Xbox, the PlayStation, and the GameCube, and the controllers used to rumble, whatever the case, right? It was a little company called Immersions, something, right? And they sued Sony, sued Sony and Microsoft for like $10 million, something like, right? Yep. Sony took it to court and lost. That's why the PlayStation 3 controllers at launch didn't rumble. What Microsoft did was gave the company $10 million and then brought half the company. You know what I mean? I don't know. They may even own the whole company.
I think they brought the company.
Or whatever the case may be. I know at first they bought half. They might don't know on them. They went bought the whole goddamn thing. So the technology that makes your controller rumble and stuff like that, Microsoft actually owns. You know what I mean? Like literally. So every goddamn controller they get sold that rumble, Microsoft owns. Like, you know what I mean? They got, and again, I'm not bragging about their money and what they, because I can care less about that. But I don't know how should I say this. But as far as I just felt like they, in my biggest fuss and my biggest complaint, like they lost focus of their core of what made them what they are, this hit product. You know what I mean? And they thought about, hey, Windows was cool. Windows is cool. But your average console guy gamer don't care about, playing your game anywhere. I don't care about any of that. You know what I mean? It just kind of lost focus of what got them there. And again, even Shannon Lawson to say that Recore is on the level of, like the guy, I always say you guys, you be mindful of watching your shit, right? When I said that, the first Xbox game was Halo. The second Xbox game was Gears. What is our go-to game for the Xbox One? This generation started in 2013. What is that, that marquee game? And for her to come out and talking about Recore, like that's my issue. Or even the fact that, again, when I first did the meltdown, but they took the resources and stuff to enhance not Lucky Tales, Zoo Tycoon and Rush Disneyland, but you bickered with a company over $8 million to give us a true next generation of Phantom Dust. That's when I question, like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? This is not the Microsoft that I know. This is not the Microsoft that made me an Xbox fan. I don't know who the hell this is right here. You know what I mean? So
exactly, facts.
You know what I mean? So that's, what it all boils down to. And maybe, again, I might be showing my age that I'm a little longer, too. A lot of these guys, believe it or not, didn't come and became an Xbox fan to the 360. Kudos to you guys. You know what I mean? And I'm not, not knocking you. You know what I mean? But, to say that look at my gamer tag. I say this, right? And then we can get the hell about it. For all of those that's questioning, that said I'm hanging around too many Sony people or this, that, which is crazy, like it's a cult or something. Look at their gamer tags. Look at what year it was created. Look at mine. You can't even get a game until like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I was a beta tester for this shit here. You know what I mean? Most of these motherfuckers. Yeah, most of these motherfuckers think bookers is candy. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But this shit is wild here, man. But it is what it is, man.
That's what they've been telling us, man. I've been Xbox since you first got on. Since you first got online, and everybody didn't know what they was just like. Hello, yo.
Oh, you can hear me?
Remember that one?
This is dope.
They don't remember that. They don't remember. Oh, you can hear me? Oh, you can hear me? Oh, I'm talking to people across the country. Like that right there.
Where you from?
I'm from Detroit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I go back then.
That was a wild experience.
Four of the people I played with on Xbox Live, like we met when Xbox Live first started. It was like, hello, man, F you. That's how we became friends somehow. I don't know how that even happened, but that's just how I be, man. Like, it just happened like that. Like, so nobody could ever tell me anything about Xbox, anything. Like, I remember having LAN parties. Like, a lot of y'all didn't do it. A lot of these guys came around the 360 era.
System, man. We don't know nothing about them system links. Them system links where you took the whole system with you. Had about 8-10 Xboxes hooked up to connect.
Had a guy tell me, "Oh, you're becoming a Sony guy." Let me tell you why I could never become a Sony guy. Number one, I hate the controller. Number two, I never even had a PS3. I didn't have a PS2 after like 2002, I believe. Somebody stole it. So there's nothing you could tell me. I don't care what you think about me being a Sony. Go look at my achievements on Sony. What is it? Trophies? Go look at that. That'll tell you.
I have a PSN account.
Shout out to my man in the super chat, Alexis. Hold on, we got a donation, a $15 donation to super chat. Shout out to you, my man, Alexis. It just showed across my phone. Shout out to for those that got it. I didn't even know that if you have an iPhone that you can't support the super chat. So that's why I always leave the link there. Shout out to Alexis. for supporting and rocking out with the show. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I just want to say that.
I have a PSN account that I haven't used in years. I created it on a PS3. My that was brought for my nephew. I just set it up. I just set it up for him. Look, I come from the Ataris, the Sega Genesis, the Nintendos. I played the PlayStation 1 heavily. I played the PlayStation 2 heavily. But when at that time I was just getting into I was taking my classes on getting my A+ certification, my Cisco networking and stuff like that. And so I was at that time I was heavy into tech, and around the time that was the same time that Microsoft announced the Xbox. And when I saw the specs, I was like, wow. And then when I saw that they was going to and around that time broadband wasn't as prominent as it was. Around that time, computers wasn't even that prominent in the homes yet. Computers was just starting to penetrate homes and stuff. We were still in that 56 keg or that ISDN 200 gigabyte era as far as the internet. Broadband was just trying to start taking off, and Microsoft, somewhat my part, was instrumental in getting that off the ground. I wouldn't say it was the sole reason why it took off the ground, but it was very instrumental, because I remember Comcast, if you brought their internet, they gave you an Xbox. Their internet packages where they was giving you an Xbox. And I know one of the reasons why I went and got the broadband internet was for Xbox Live, because I was a beta tester. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can speak on Sony in some respect from a retrospective standpoint, but I don't do it now. I only give my opinions on it because I don't own the system. I haven't played none of the latest games yet. So, but still though, if I criticize Microsoft or constructively criticize them, that don't mean I'm a Sony pony. That don't mean I got Sony dudes in my ears telling me to say this. We grown ass men on here. What y'all think this is? We ain't no fucking children.
They tell you gotta add E.
I can never switch over to control. I only like the Xbox controller, bro.
I can't do it. They say you gotta add heat and pressure to coal to make a diamond. You know what I'm saying? So we just adding that heat and pressure. That's all. We just want Microsoft to shine. That's it.
Okay, Dr. Dwayne. Dr. Dwayne, I got you. He said you're supposed to talk about Ark Survival Evolved on Xbox One X, 1440p, 24 frames per second. Okay.
Ark Survival is trash on everything.
Okay, it's trash on any system. I know people with high-end PCs and that shit still run like trash. But what we got to stop here. We got to stop doing this. And Turk does this a lot too, because I know he listening. So he gonna catch me at Bang Bang. We're gonna discuss this. Plus, we probably got to. I ain't gonna even talk about that yet. But look, let me tell you something. Stop taking a few seconds out of a Digital Foundry video and applying that to the whole game. You posted that like it's 1440p, 24 frames per second, the whole game. And it's not. And do it at some spots. We gotta stop this, people. And this is something that's been like I think the 15 frames per second thing, memes that's going around now, where people saying Xbox X 15 frames per second, as if the game run 15 frames per second the whole game. Nah, it drops. Of course it's dropped. And we getting half-ass patches right now. You got developers that, like I said in the past, that's probably got majority of their resources on newer games, and they're not going to put in the type of work that we will want or expect in these old games in regards to these patches. Microsoft, just like the what game just got today, where it's running dynamic resolution on the X and native on the PS4 Pro.
Skyrim or something.
Skyrim. That's a half-ass patch.
Yeah,
it's simple. It's not that the hardware is incapable, and we got to stop this. When you see these half-ass patches with developers who only had
let me tell you something.
The system,
these guys got it. Hey, Post, they got to stop this. Let me tell you something. Having dynamic scaling is good. Like I don't know if you guys were actually watching the video where during the parts where it should have scaled down for PlayStation, you see them frame rates drop. If you don't have dynamic, you're gonna see that frame rate drop a lot more than you see like normally. You notice that Xbox version, the frame rate was steady, bro. Like you barely seen it drop. You didn't even see it drop below 29, bro. Come on, man. Stop,
Dr.
man.
Dwayne, I did say that. You probably caught me on a previous podcast where I did say it will run at 60 or close to 60, but that was based off what the developer was touting prior to the game being enhanced. Now we know we can't trust none of these motherfucking developers on what they say in regards to how these games are going to perform, especially in these patches, because a lot of these developers came out prior to these enhancements releasing saying 4K 60 this, 4K that, and 60 that, and these patches are coming out, and we're finding out that they're half-ass. And Digital Foundry, that one thing I can applaud them on is they holding developers accountable, because the things that they're finding is forcing developers to go back and fix the shit.
Respawn was talking about 6K, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So just because these games are heavy issues, don't blame the hardware, because the hardware is capable. You go on Twitter and holler at the developer that lied to you. Don't try to. Microsoft gave them the platform to do what they
don't do that. Don't do that. Post they enjoyed being lied to.
They
enjoyed being lied to.
You know what I'm saying? You know the dev kit they gave them, the 6 teraflop, 24 gigabytes of GDR. Man, they gave them a beast of a fucking dev kit. And you mean to tell me that we're getting these type of patches and everybody want to blame the X? Yeah, you keep on doing that if you want to.
Hey, look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you don't, maybe you may not like the games of the Xbox app. Cool. All that, like I said, is subjective, right? That's your opinion, right? But to say that the actual console itself is not a very capable machine, you're not being honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you're bugging. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
they've been disproven time after time with that bullshit.
Look, I'm waiting. I'm not saying no more on these hands and titles, because I see what it is now in regards to and I would say if they got the dev kits around E3 and it's November now, I would say more than likely a lot of these patches was probably rushed. And it's probably was done by a 1 or 2, maybe 3, 4 man, 5 man team. Nothing really big to allocate a lot of major resources. If you look at Quantum Break, one guy done that by himself, just on his free time. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I'm doing is I'm going to wait, because I know down the line that's what we
hold up, post up. You want to be like Mr. Wait and See over here, huh?
Yeah. I told you I still stick by that. I still stick by that.
Y'all know who I am, Mr. Wait and See.
Yeah, I want to wait, because you can't. I say this and I will say it again. If you judge this system by the patches that are being put out, you're gonna be eating crow.
Yeah.
Some when developers have a sufficient amount of time to invest and learn what they can squeeze out of this system. They only have 5 months with it. What y'all expecting them to do in 5 months? Give it some time, and that motherfucker gonna be singing.
All right, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. And get up about
tune on that boy.
Yeah, 250. Got 100. Listen, man. As y'all came, man, hit the like button, man. Like I said, shout out to every one of you guys, man. Like we said, appreciate you rocking out with us. An improv show, you know what I mean? It's improv, you know what I mean? End of the day, I haven't spoken, not spoken to, but you know what I mean? Again, you guys like when we do up the shows. Again, the Broadband Bullies. Thank you guys for getting behind us and rocking out with us. We got a lot of talent, man. We got Xbox Juice. We got my man Mighty Moss. Gary, everybody put the links to your channels down below. These guys are putting up content every day, man. You know what I mean? So, rock out and support with us, man. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Some real solid cats, man. You know what I mean? Shout out, Rain. What's going on, Rain? Hey, Rain. So I'm here. You're welcome. The show was the show over now, Rain. You came at
the last minute.
Yeah, the last minute.
Oh, man.
Hey, shout out to my man, the finest, man. Give the pros some time. Yeah.
I do want to say this, Z, if I can. I do want to say this. I want to shout out everybody in the chat who sent me a friend request on Xbox Live. I play with some of you guys. We play with some. I mean, we play with some of you guys in Gears. It was an awesome time. The party chat was crazy. If you don't know, my gamer tag is post space up. Send a friend request. Hop in the party chat with us, man. Enjoy yourself, man. We game every night. I think we're gonna be on there tonight going crazy. You're gonna see a different side of us, stuff we can't do on this podcast. You're gonna see when you get in that party. Let's get it.
Join the live. Like I said, if you guys are not following me on Mixer, here's my link on live stream tonight. Like I said, our live stream be like another podcast in itself. It'd be funny as hell, man. Like I said, if you're not following me on Mixer, do so. They got the link right there. I mean, we rock out. I mean, shout out to my brother Xbox Juice, getting support. Juice, upcoming post up, man. Shout out to everybody. My man Mike Ortiz. Shout out to everybody. White King Kong, you Nintendo weirdo ass nigga. But shout out to everybody in the chat, man. You know what I mean? We catch you guys during the week. Actually, catch you tomorrow. I'll be doing something tomorrow. We do put something together. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we out here, man. Bang. Bacon, bacon, bacon.